Okay.
Can be viewed by people you select. Okay, so this is what it says. There are 3 stream privacy levels you can choose from. Public can be viewed by anyone. Private can be viewed by people you select. So let's see this. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Let's go down here. Editing privacy settings after creating the broadcast. So sign into the YouTube studio. From the menu on the left, select videos. Hover over the tab you wish to update to see your live videos. Go to live. Under the visibility, select public, private, or unlisted. Yeah, we know.
Okay, this one is live right now. Can I? Oh, I can change it to members only.
There we go.
And
Platinum.
done.
Save. Oh, we're making progress.
Your members only live stream has been created.
Okay.
Cool.
They'll be notified.
Okay, I think
we're on.
We're streaming.
Oh my gosh.
With 1 minute to go.
We did it.
Maybe.
Right under the wire.
We maybe did it. Okay. Hi, everybody. If you're there, if you can hear us, if you can see us, please comment.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The live chat will appear here, but private broadcasts are not supported.
Oh,
so
and it's private.
that's probably not going to work.
So that's fun.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. So you might need to go. You know what? Go to my YouTube channel.
Yes.
And
Let's
go.
join.
Oh, but wait, you're only gonna be. Yeah, you're not platinum. So
I'll become platinum real quick.
Shoot. Because I don't know how to see. You know what? If can I click on this? No.
D4 deep dive. Oh, volume down. Okay. Join. Maybe I think I have to switch accounts.
I'm gonna go into the Discord and ask people if they can see us.
Can you see me?
Hey.
Can you hear me?
We're live in theory. Can anyone here see the live stream?
Join. It's joining. It's thinking. Go ahead. Buy it. Oh gosh, I don't know my...
Sweet. This was all just a grand scheme to manipulate Dallin into paying me $5 a month for platinum membership. After this, we're gonna shut it all down.
Yep.
I got my $5.
It's over.
No,
No, I'm going for that elusive Electrum membership tier. Here we go.
Not showing up for me. Wait, I take it back. It just showed up.
It just showed up.
But it's a little quiet.
Okay.
But can you hear us, Lucas B?
I'm a member. Okay. Let's see here.
I don't know how to increase the output volume, so
let's see.
We might be
Let's
stuck.
go to OBS real quick. Is it using this microphone?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I could turn up the gain.
Yeah.
You can turn up the gain.
Is it this?
Yeah.
How about that?
Is that better? I don't want it to be too much background noise.
Yeah. Live. Oh, here we go. I got us.
You might need to,
I got it down.
yeah, turn the volume down. Okay.
Okay. Oh, yep, we're getting some chats too. Hey, we can hear you. We can see your volume's good. I guess you all are talking quietly. We were.
Sorry.
There's a delay. We fixed the gain.
We're not getting any feedback from YouTube. I can't actually see, like, either in OBS or, like, from YouTube itself, like, you guys' comments as they're coming in. So I convinced Dallin to become a platinum member, and now we can see the comments and the feedback. So
Yeah.
we've got some technical difficulties we're working out, but thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me close the door.
Good idea. Well, it is the first stream, so, there's bound to be some errors, some issues, but I think we've got that mostly figured out.
Okay. Yeah, cover us up or else we'll be tempted to just look at
Yeah,
ourselves.
good point.
We're all narcissists.
Just a little.
So,
Yes.
hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm a little stressed.
This is just, I don't know, I think I'm just used to, like,
Oh, yeah.
figuring stuff out. on the fly, and then just trying to make it better as I go. You know what I mean?
I am the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I am the pre-plan as much as I can until I make myself sick about it kind of person.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, this could segue into one of our questions. So maybe I'll save the thing that I was just about to say. Hi, Platinum members. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here today, right now, and for like your support, whether it's recent or whether you've been around since that very first Pamlock Warlock, Hexblade Warlock video. Yeah, I love you guys and could not be doing this without you. Super excited to have Dallin kind of join me in a little bit more kind of officially type capacity.
I mean, been around.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we make it a little more official.
Yeah. For those who don't know and you know aren't like longtime viewers, gosh, the very first sliding into my DMs episode that I did that was so bad and so cheesy, and like the video quality and the audio quality was so terrible, but I was just like, I wanted to have this like conversational piece, where we can talk about like rules questions that come up, and you know, give people advice on like how to be better players, better DMs, help everybody have more fun at their table.
Yeah, we were just trying to convince all DMs to be nicer to power gamers.
Yeah,
I think was the message.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, and you would sometimes acquiesce, and then other times not so much.
Yeah.
But so it was just me and Dallin, and then I brought in my friend Preston, who we also play with, and then Corey and even Tori and like others eventually. And then we were broadcasting our games for a minute there.
Yeah.
Tales of Veneria.
Yeah.
We were doing it on the channel here, and then we decided to make a separate channel for our Tales of Veneria sessions. It got to the point where I stepped away because I just didn't have the time. I felt like between the channel and playing every single week and trying to kind of help manage broadcasting our game and stuff like that, like it was taking too much time away from my family, and so I kind of stepped away from the game, and the channel's still going.
Yeah, it's still going.
But you left.
I stayed
over
for
the summer.
a while until basically kind of came to the same
yeah.
thing. I had just had my third kid.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody else has 3 kids, but it's like having 2, except you're on fire.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to step away from that too.
Right.
But you know, things have calmed down. Kids are growing up. I think I have a little more time.
Yeah.
And I just miss hanging out with you.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we go to lunch, you know, every once in a while, and with Preston and stuff too. But I haven't been playing. I shouldn't even confess this. I haven't been playing D&D for quite a while now. Since I stepped away, I haven't got a new game. I did some Pathfinder stuff with Ronald, the rules lawyer. I've done, you know, an occasional like one shot here or there with other people, but yeah, excited to start a new campaign, a new session, which we'll probably get into this coming year, right?
yeah, I think so.
But I don't know that we're gonna broadcast that. I think it might just be.
I don't know. It might just be a for us game. Yeah, because it's probably a monthly type of thing.
Until our kids get a little older, we're probably gonna have to go down to a once a month session.
Nothing's off the table though.
Right.
I'm always open.
So yes, here's how this is gonna work, like for now, and it's going to evolve, I'm sure, as everything that I've done on this channel has evolved. You know, once a month we're gonna do this. We don't want it to take too much time away from family life. So for us, it kind of
filming, editing.
Yeah, it kind of needs to be like during work hours for us here in Mountain Time in the States. And afternoons tend to be best, right? We can be a little bit flexible, but if you guys are feeling strongly about, you know, gosh, I wish you could do it an hour or two later or an hour or two earlier, like we could probably be flexible a little bit. But anyway, you go to the Discord server. For those who don't know, go to the Discord server. There's a little sub channel. Live stream questions. And it's for Platinum members only, and you can submit your questions there. And then unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to all of them, but Dallin is going to sort of curate, pre-select, a handful that we're going to talk about, and we're just going to talk for an hour and kind of hang out. And he's got the chat up, so he can hopefully we can have a little bit of back and forth. It's hard to have a conversation and then try to read all the chats and respond to all the questions. But
D&D streamers don't even play the game chants going in the chat right now.
I knew I shouldn't have said anything. Dang it!
We've also been outnumbered with pack tactics, according to this. Or that might be me with my kids, I think. All right, well, let's just jump into the first question. I think this one's kind of a softball question, maybe to like loosen up a little bit and just get the conversation flowing. So this comes from Ariel in the Discord. What do you think? Keep singing. What do you think is the optimal time for playing D&D and other TTRPGs? And I think you can take this a couple of different ways.
Length of time,
length of session, time of day. How long does a campaign go for? As I bump the mic.
That's okay.
So yeah, let's maybe attack it from all different angles.
That's
here.
a good question. I do love playing weekly. More than that, well, this might be affected by the fact that I kind of do D&D for my job now, and so more than once a week, it's like I get D&D burnout a little bit. You know what I mean? I can see that maybe not being the case if I were in my old job. But once a week feels great, although it's difficult to manage, obviously, as we've talked about with kids and family. As far as session length, for me, like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, we've done like marathon sessions before.
We've done them.
And I feel like the quality of our role play starts to drop the longer the session goes.
You hit midnight and it's like you don't even remember who you are, let alone your character.
And maybe that's part of it, right? Because we're playing late at night.
That's
and so
true.
We're getting tired and we have kids and we got to wake up with them at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever. Like, so, maybe if we were like, I can imagine a world where once the channel gets to 1 million subscribers or whatever,
tell your friends,
and we can afford it, right? And I can hire you and Preston and somebody else full time, that we could play like weekly on like a Wednesday afternoon every week. And I can imagine then going from like noon to 5, like no problem.
That'd be easy
and not
at that
getting
point.
burnout. Yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I don't know, 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, I think from a DM's perspective, like you start to lose.
Yeah.
You're kind of like
And it can be exhausting.
Yeah. You got to be 40 people in one session potentially.
And
so
you're thinking, and have you planned ahead
far enough
to get through more than 3
and
or 4
if not,
hours?
who's that shopkeeper that's going to bother everybody for like an hour while you try and think of something else?
Random combat encounter, go.
Yeah. There's some goblins over here. Do that while I quickly plan the next hour.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, 3 to 4 I think is fair.
Okay.
That's been kind of my sweet spot.
What are the viewers saying?
Let's see. We've got most of the games I play go for about 4 hours, and after 3 the brain gets a bit fried. Yeah, totally agree with that.
It's getting warm in here, isn't
It
it?
is.
Where's my drink? Thirsty.
Oh, it's right there. Let's see. 4 hours for a running game is about all I can handle as a DM. As a player, I can do 6 because I can take breaks while others are talking. Yes, agreed with that as well. Back in the day, we would run weekend-long mega sessions every couple of months. Start at 6 p.m. on Friday, go all day Saturday, and then until around 5 p.m. on Sunday. Now that sounds awesome.
I will say this. I have a dream. And I've talked with you about this, of doing, you guys have heard of the D&D in a castle?
Like Jenny D does that. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I had the idea before, but I just didn't do anything about it, but I could be wrong. I'm sure a lot of other people have had a similar idea. Like, I want to do, like, destination D&D company where, I mean, it would be pricey. It would be a premium, and that would be the challenge with it. But like, I want to like get a VRBO,
Yeah.
like a really nice like cabin, like up like in the mountains, like overlooking some misty lake, right?
Yes.
It just like this beautiful setting and a really nice place. Bring in like a full-time chef.
There you go.
That's like really, really good, right? And you've got like 4 days to do like, I don't know, you wake up to like a gourmet breakfast. Maybe you have some personal time. You can go canoe out on the lake or take a little hike or something like that.
Cosplay as your character and get lost in the woods.
Right. Come back, have a delicious lunch, and then have like a 3 or 4 hour session. Take a 2 or 3 hour break, have an amazing dinner, do something, take a nap if you need to, and then come back and play from 7 to midnight or whatever, and do that for like 3 or 4 days, and that would be
You
that
could
would be so
fit
cool.
a mini campaign.
Yeah.
For sure. Like a 6 session type of thing. Maybe break it up a couple times in the day.
And here's something. Well, I got to be careful what I say here. When I was in Toronto, a 3 weeks ago, hanging out with Kelly and Monty, the Dungeon Dudes, we were talking about this over dinner. They've got an idea, and well, okay, I don't want to say. Now I feel stupid
maybe we
for
should
starting to say something.
That's
but
okay. Let's go into another question.
Basically, they want to do something like that too.
Yeah.
I think maybe it might not be go to somewhere cool
Yeah.
destination, but to kind of bring people to them. And but the thing that I think would be cool about that is that if you I don't watch Critical Role.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and the episodes that I've seen are great, and there's like 5 zillion 4-hour long episodes.
It's a huge barrier to entry,
right,
for sure,
and,
especially now.
And I'm like, well, okay, I started listening to episode 1 of season 2, and I think I got to episode 2, and then I'm just like, I don't have time for all of this.
Yeah.
But if you could do a mini, like a 6 to 8 session campaign, and it was good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Insanely
I feel like that would,
high focused role play.
that would be a lot more like sort of digestible content wise.
Yeah, I think so.
And could potentially get a good audience and a good following, so you could tell like a concise story.
It's kind of the trend too in like the book sphere, right? Where everyone's doing these like standalone novels or novellas now, and it's just a
Right.
quick read, introduces you to the author, like kind of like that
Yeah.
sort, or like the Disney Plus, like Mandalorian or whatever, just like
Yeah.
a 6 episode, 8 episode kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We in the chat we've got D&D Cruise ?
Yeah, that would be awesome because all your entertainment's there, right? And like great food, it's easy, and it would probably be a lot easier to organize and coordinate, and it'd probably be more affordable.
Probably.
You'd have to pick a cruise that like didn't go somewhere cool though, because then you'd want to get off the boat.
No, go to Alaska. It's perfect.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I love
because the
Alaska.
scenery is amazing, and you've got long days just like
You got a
watching
sea day there, a
those-
sea day back.
watching that gorgeous coastal rainforest float by, and just immersing yourself in a fantasy world.
Play the Frost of the Rhyme, or what was it, the Rhyme of the Frost Maiden, or
Yeah.
whatever out there.
And then anytime you're hungry, there's just always food available.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
sounds awesome. All right, let's. Someone says Alaskan cruises are the best. Agreed.
Yes.
Cabin in the Woods D&D horror campy one shot. Yes. Okay, let's go to the next question.
All right.
This is going to be a monk super question because everybody wants to ask you about monks.
My
I
favorite
don't know.
questions.
I don't know why. So here we go. So we've got from Coral in the Discord. What changes are you hoping to see for the monk in the 2024 revisions?
Okay.
Maybe I should just ask you all of these, and then we'll just have like a monk convo.
Sure.
Is that better?
Sure.
Okay. Daniel RFR in Discord says, if you could change 3 things about the monk as they are presented in 5e to make them actually scale well, what would they be? So similar question.
Sure.
And then Java Jedi, again on the Discord, if you could have used the Way of the Arcane Hand in your Monk Bladesinger build, how much do you think it would have changed the build, and would it have been better?
Okay.
So that's a lot of questions, but they're
Okay.
all Monk-centered.
Okay, so I'll take the first two as kind of one because
Okay.
they're very similar. Like, what
Right.
would you change today, or what do you want to see changed for 1D&D or whatever they call it? I think first up for me is key, key points, and I would love to see and I've talked about this before. Especially early on, because once you get 8 to 10 levels of monk, you don't feel the pain of not having enough key so much, but those first few levels are painful. So whether it proficiency bonus or wisdom modifier, more key points.
Yeah.
So it would be your monk level plus proficiency bonus modifier, or wisdom modifier. That would really help to kind of get you through early stuff.
And it would scale. Because of your proficiency
it would
and
scale.
your bonus, as long as you're investing in your...
But again, it doesn't hurt that much, once you get 7, 8, 9, 10
Right.
levels in. Depending on your table and how many short rests you're taking, I guess. We tend to have a short rest pretty much every combat encounter.
Yeah.
Maybe every 2.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see, what else? I mean, the reality is they can't keep up damage-wise with the Great Weapon Master or Sharpshooter, martial characters of the world. Now, there are ways to kind of augment that. They do get a lot of attacks, potentially, though people could argue, well, fighters get just as many, at least once they hit fighter level 11, right?
Yeah.
Or Beast Barbarian, for that matter. But, so I would say, a little more scaling on their martial arts die wouldn't be terrible. I mean, even if it started at a D6 and went from there, or just scaled more quickly. And I would love, I love the idea of the monk being sort of the lightning fast attacker. I want them to be able to do more attacks than anybody in the game.
They should.
Yeah.
For some reason, that belongs to fighter with action surge.
or Beastmaster. Well, yeah, action surge especially.
Yeah.
So maybe you keep their damage, the martial arts die and things like that where it's at, but maybe I don't know, giving them 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action for free might be too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you got to peel back the layers and look at the numbers on that.
Yeah.
But
Flurry of Blows doing, or how about just let Flurry of Blows scale? Like when you first get the feature, it does 2 unarmed strikes, but
Right.
at level 5 it does 3, and at level 11 it does 4. Ooh, that might be too many. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to play with it, right, and see okay, is this just blowing everything out of the water? My hunch is that it wouldn't.
Probably not.
Especially if you could still keep them away from Great Weapon Master, Sharpshooter type things. And for 1D&D, and this is maybe kind of where the difference lies, right? In 1D&D, they are doing things to give monks more key points, but you don't get this feature right now until level 7.
and at that point,
If they can bring that up to level 2,
Yeah.
which is probably where it should be. As soon as you get key points, you get this ability to regain your key points on a short rest once per day.
I mean, it's arcane recovery essentially.
Yeah.
For key.
Yeah, give you that earlier. That would help. And well, the changes that they've announced in 1D&D thus far are not good for monks. They don't move the needle in a positive direction really. In some ways it does, and in some ways it scales it back. So Chris and I at Treant Monk had a good conversation around it, and then he did a great video breaking it down even further. And yeah, I think the weapon masteries are awesome for 1D&D. I'm super excited about them, and monks basically don't get access to any of them, as it is right now. So they've got to be able to get better weapon mastery access, and that might help change things for them. But yeah, I guess to sum up a very long-winded and rambly response, as is my want,
Best kind.
I would say more key points, More attacks.
Yeah.
It would be my favorite way to give them more damage, but yeah, it might be tricky to do that in a balanced way. And survivability, yeah, they're pretty squishy. I obviously, as you guys probably all know, like, I don't think enough about survivability. I'm just like, whatever, like, we'll be fine.
Yeah, the best offense or the best defense is a good offense. You can't. They
Right.
can't hurt you if they're dead.
So yeah, their armor class is not particularly good, and they're only a D8. Maybe finding a way to bump that AC just a skosh. And I don't know what that looks like. It's Dex plus Wisdom plus proficiency bonus might be too much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, let's go to the chat. We've got a couple ideas here in the chat. So we've got, as I say that, let's see. More abilities that don't require ki. I can see that.
Yes.
More magic items for monks.
You know what? That's a great one, because that's one of the biggest problems with Unarmed Strike is that, it's great in a vacuum, but when your barbarian friend gets, what was that?
Hazaron?
Hazaron. Frickin' in our very first 5e campaign, we did the
Tiamat, whatever that was. Tyranny of
Horde,
Dragons.
Horde of the Dragon Queen, and yeah, he slight spoiler alert, I guess. There's a legendary greatsword. I think it was a greatsword. In there that you get pretty early. I mean, it was before the end of the first half of that arc.
I think we were maybe level 5,
and it was crazy damage. And Reese, our friend that was playing the resident barbarian, just all of a sudden was doing like 2 or 3 times damage everybody else. You know what I mean? And so, but even a flaming tongue longsword or whatever, like when you're just punching for a D4 or a D6 or a D8, there's a couple of things. There's a tattoo you can get. There's a
claw,
the Eldritch, the insignia of the claw, also from that campaign. That gives you a +1. That's great early, but like it doesn't scale.
Yeah.
Like you need something that can maybe continue to scale, or give you like some sort of wraps that are going to increase the damage that you do, or give you more attacks or something like that.
Yeah, let's see. We've got the availability to help their unarmed strikes is abysmal compared to other martials.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then let's go to that second
Oh,
question here about the Arcane Hand Monk. If you could have used the Way of the Arcane Hand in your Monk Bladesinger build, how do you think it would have changed the build? How much better would it have been?
If I could have used the Arcane Hand Monk, I wouldn't have made a Bladesinger Monk to begin with. Like, I just would have gone Arcane Hand. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yes, that's
Kelly and Monty's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Their Drakenheim subclass for Monk. They had 2. The other one is just as good. It was the Way of the Serpent, I think, and it lets you use polearms among other things.
Cool.
And it's super awesome. But yeah, that Arcane Hand Monk is like, I think I say in a video that I'm editing right now about my ranking my builds for 2023, that'll be out next week. I say, like, in my next D&D campaign, I'm gonna try to convince Dallin to let me play the Way of the Arcane Hand Monk.
Convinced.
Because it's so good. It's so awesome. It might be a little bit overpowered. I didn't want to... We talked about it with Kelly and Monty. I didn't say it on camera, but we talked about it off camera. It's really, really good. It might be just a teeny bit too good, but I think with just a little bit of pullback, you could scale it better and it would be fine. But yeah, it's what the 4 elements monk should have been. Like, it gives you spells and spell slots to cast them with, so that you're not wasting your ki for everything, right? It was so good, and there were so many fun ways to kind of buff it. I don't think, when I was looking at it and building it for that video, I was like, well, what should I multi-class this with, and should I take like some Bladesinger levels? Of course, that was my first thought, and that would be cool. But the Arcane Hand Monk gets the feature, the attack, and then you can use a cantrip, extra attack that Bladesingers get. and that was sort of the main draw.
Sure.
I mean, there's other great things about it. You know, your intelligence buffing your concentration and your armor, and of course being a full wizard, so you get more and better, you know, spells, etc., etc. But yeah, the subclass itself was so good, and the level 17 feature, I think it was so good that I was just like, I don't want a multi-class here.
Yeah,
'Cause I just
don't
wanna,
wanna miss
get
out
all
on
these
that.
features.
The chat is saying, wouldn't Blade Singer or Blade Song really boost your AC?
Yes, yeah, and I kind of, oops, sorry, one sec. I'm not plugged in on my laptop, and so my laptop's gonna die, and that would be tragic.
Where is the power?
Hold, please.
Hold, please. There you
Experiencing
go.
technical difficulties. Thank you.
Sorry, chat. Hold on a second.
So yes, I mean that's.
There we go.
That is like definitely, you know, I guess I would say if anything I would take just a 2-level Blade Singer dip. In that case, it does make you even more mad, and that's problematic because you need a good intelligence to benefit from the Blade Song, right?
Yeah.
And you already need a high dex and wisdom, and of course you want a high con. But, you know, you might be able to get a 1 or a 2 intelligence bump, or maybe you get lucky and you find a headband of intellect, and
Yeah.
and then.
Well, and if you have spell slots, right, you're getting shield. You're gonna
Yeah.
go get shield. That's
yeah,
gonna help your AC
for sure. And there's never any worry about, you know, am I do I need Warcaster, which is I hate that feat.
It's just this. It's just a. It's just a tax.
It's a gish tax.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, I don't need to go off on that rant. What was I saying? Yeah, you won't have to worry about casting with your hands full because you're a monk. You never have your hands full. I mean, you're not using a 2-handed weapon anyway, and you're not using a shield, so.
Oh, yeah. All right. So let's go into the next one. We've got from. Let's see.
Oh, hey! Thanks for the super thanks.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
You guys are
Relax
awesome.
Fantasy Review.
I think I saw another one come through earlier too. You don't have to scroll. Anyway.
Oh, there it is.
You guys are kind. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rogue King 94.
Rogue King 94.
You are a king. Okay, let's see. Let's go to the next one. Daniel RFR says, "What is your least favorite class, and why do they not make the serotonin fire?"
Wait a second. Serotonin.
Like in your brain.
Oh.
Like, why are they not making you happy?
I'm not that smart. I don't know what brain chemicals are. That's a really good question.
It is a good
and for
question.
the record, I did not know what questions Down was going to bring.
Oh
here.
yeah, this is just a straight like I'm assaulting you with questions. You have no idea what's coming.
Yes. I mean, I've seen them as they've come through on the live chat, but I just kind of gave them a peripheral glance because I didn't know which ones you were going to pick.
Yeah.
My least favorite class. I kind of feel bad having a least favorite class. It's like, okay, early on, I would have said the Artificer. That probably won't surprise longtime viewers. That said, as I have built more Artificer builds over the years now, like I've come to really love them, especially the Armorer, and especially the Guardian Armorer. And let's be honest, I have a very soft spot in my heart for Vi and League of Legends and Arcane, and they just announced Season 2, finally.
That was the greatest animated. Sorry to go off topic.
No.
Greatest animated show for like the last 5 years, maybe Spider-Verse.
As far as I'm concerned, it's the best TV show, period, of the last. I mean, maybe Ted Lasso. I would say is like up there, which is totally different, right? It's so good. I love it with all of my heart, and I was a longtime League of Legends player as well. I always played jungle, but I didn't play Vi. It kind of makes me want to get back into the game and try Vi jungle. Anyway,
Someone's predicting it's Ranger, always Ranger, as your least favorite class.
okay, here's the thing. Like, you know how you take those tests sometimes? It's like, what D&D class are you in real life? I might be a ranger in real life.
I could see it.
Or a bard. I think like I'm maybe
You're
I'm
like a
mix.
multi-class, yeah.
Because I love music and I love singing and things like that. But I love the outdoors, and I'm always like hiking and biking and things, and I'm just like, maybe I'm a ranger in real life, but like they might be my least favorite class in D&D, or druids, which I also feel guilty about because I'm kind of like a tree hugger wannabe anyway, and yet like for some reason in game the nature thing is boring to me. I don't know why. Like I really don't know why. Maybe there's something about wanting my spell casting to be like spectacular.
Oh yeah.
And like and what's the word I'm looking for? Like fantastical.
Yeah, kind of whimsical a bit.
Yeah, and not like vines or like rain.
Yeah. No, yeah, because you want like that arcane spark and
Yeah.
like the electric and
Yeah.
like
Maybe
I can see that.
Maybe it's not like escapey enough for me,
It's
or like
too-
fantasy enough for me,
Yeah.
or something. I
I
don't know
can
what it
see that.
is. That is a really good question. But yeah, I would probably say ranger or druid.
Oh man.
Which don't tell Greenpeace. Or
They're coming for you.
Or the Sierra Club, because they might cancel my membership.
Oh, okay. This is probably a bad take, but I think it's the barbarian, and not because it's not awesome.
Yeah.
And conceptually, it's so cool to be this raging, like buff guy with an axe running in there and just causing havoc, but it's because it's so samey.
Yeah.
Every turn.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I start, I rage, I run up, I hit this. If I'm not close enough, I throw something so that I
Yeah.
don't lose my rage. And you just do that over and over
Yeah.
until the giant barbarian, right? Which now you have some more options.
yeah.
But you know, your last video kind of goes into the pitfalls there.
Before I in the early days, I probably would have said the same thing. Like if not artificer, like maybe fighter or barbarian.
Yeah.
Because in my mind they're just like I hit stuff and
Yeah.
that's just kind of all I do. And there's definitely something there. That said, having played fighter barbarian in one of your campaigns, and I just was talking about this.
We just were talking about that.
Like that was so fun.
Yeah.
To just be like an absolute wrecking ball character. And like I felt now, okay, Anya, my blade singer, my first blade
Yes.
singer, was my favorite, you guys know this, like character that I've ever played in a game. I felt invincible. And
Pretty
it might
much
have been
were.
because you gave us a free blue level magic item and I took a cloak of displacement. So
Perfect for a blade
so I
singer.
could never get hit, and we always seemed to be fighting in dim light or darkness, so my shadow blade always had advantage. So I did so much damage, and there was this fight, and now we're getting way off topic.
That's
There
okay.
was this fight I remember where like there was this NPC that we were trying to save, and they were like in a burning building on the second story of a
Yeah.
and it was far away. And there was a bad guy up there too.
About to shank him in the back.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Send him out. Yeah.
And I had this round where I was like, I had my shadow blade out already, and I'm fighting. We're all fighting in the courtyard, and I like kill a dude, and then I bonus action Misty Step up into the balcony of this building, run in, on my next turn, kill the bad guy, or no, I don't even remember. I think I used life transference.
yeah.
The
you
one
did.
that does damage to you but heals.
Yes.
Because they were like making
went
death
down,
saving
I think.
throws.
Yeah.
So I like killed the bad guy, and then like life transference like saved the NPC that we were trying to save.
Yeah.
Like all before the rest of the team could even like get.
They
up
were
to
still like, yeah.
I was just like, gosh, this is so fun. But then that character died or kind of got yanked into another dimension.
Yeah.
And I made Anders, that barbarian fighter, and that was also so fun, different, but just like I was doing. We were level 8, 9.
Yeah.
And I was doing 80
Yeah.
damage around like
Ridiculous.
consistently, like, and the Rune Knight stuff was super fun. Because
it was the
you get the
pre-version.
cloud.
It was
yeah. It was the UA version.
It was the UA version
Yeah.
because it had not quite come out yet. But I
Yeah.
was like, let's just try it. It
And
sounds
so
fun.
it hit a little harder too
Yeah,
for that
it
reason, consistently. But then the runes, using the runes to shackle stuff or redirect attacks, and
Yeah.
So I think when depending on the subclass, like for fighters, especially because you've got Psy Warrior, you've got Battle Master,
Oh, yeah.
you've got Rune Knight that let you do a little other things. They're almost like spell-y type things more than just hit stuff. The Barbarian has fewer of those.
Yeah.
But Giant, the new Giant actually brings more of that kind of utility,
Yeah.
fun flavor by being able to throw stuff.
I have to say, Anders was probably the hardest character to make encounters for.
Yeah.
Because if I made the encounter for the rest of the party, you would just obliterate.
Yeah.
If I made the encounter for your character,
Right.
and you went down,
If I went down,
everyone was
it was
screwed.
a TPK.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was such
Well-
a fun risk reward type.
But part of that comes from the fact that like I'm kind of the only like
Yeah.
optimizer at our table.
That's
right?
true. That's very true.
Which is really fun for me because then you really feel like I am a god among mortals. but we play with such great people
Yeah.
that none of them seem to anyway be like, oh,
Yeah.
like, my character's not hitting as hard because they know like what they could do if they wanted to do more damage,
Yeah.
but that's not what's fun for them necessarily.
No, we
Preston's
have
always
RP players
Yeah.
more than anything.
Preston's always looking around the environment and being like, what can I want to throw a dagger at that chandelier,
Yeah.
or I want to like
Can I cause a rock slide?
take this drape and try and wrap it around this guy's face.
Even though
or-
I have a 8 strength.
yeah, he's always trying to grapple people with like an 8 strength. It's like, it's not your acrobatics or your athletics, it's just your athletics. They can get out with their acrobatics or athletics. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's always doing, crazy zany stuff. Anyway, we got so off topic. We were talking about least favorite classes.
Least favorite classes,
I guess we've addressed that.
Let's see. Let's go to the chat for a minute. So we've got Paladin is my least favorite. I feel like they don't have that much flavor to their subclasses. But then somebody right after argues what I would argue, they're too good at burst. They are too good at burst. They smite.
Well, the thing about the Paladin, I think, is I think they're the best sort of all-rounder
Oh yeah.
in the game. And you're right that a lot of the time their subclass like almost doesn't matter. I think rogues are similar to that.
Yeah.
And it bothers me. I mean, there's exceptions, of course, and it depends on what you're building for. But a lot of the times those channel divinities are just kind of meh. The real oomph from the class comes from their base class features. The Aura of Protection is so good. And yes, Divine Smite is amazing, but what's even more amazing is when you just take 2 levels of Paladin and then something else that gets you more and higher level spell slots quicker, right? And then you can really smite to Kingdom Come. But of course, then you're missing out on, some of the great
Yeah,
other
because you
Paladin
get your
features, so.
6th level as your aura, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where if you're playing a paladin for those reasons,
Right.
you got to get to 6.
Right.
But yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to another question here. Funny enough, from Uncanny Pally. Now that we're talking about paladins, what are some changes that Larian made in BG3 that you feel really improved the game and could be or should be ported back to D&D?
This is tough because there's a lot of things they do in Baldur's Gate that I love, obviously, and that I don't know would necessarily be great in D&D because Baldur's Gate 3 is a video game that most of us are playing as a single player game.
Yes.
You can play with your friends, and that's great. But, when you're playing a single player video game, if something is unbalanced, like, as long as it's fun for you, who cares, right?
Right.
But when you introduce something that really throws balance off in a multiplayer game where, like, one person takes this thing and now they're, like, amazing and way more powerful than everybody else, then it makes it potentially, unless you have a table like ours, I guess, it can really be disruptive, right?
Sure.
For the table, where it can cause people to feel like, well, that's lame. Now I feel like I have to do that same thing, or
But
else
just
like
get
I'm gonna
good,
fall
right?
behind.
Get good.
LTP. So that said, there are plenty of things that I do, that I do love that I could see just being good for D&D. Like I love, okay, Tavern Brawler is an example of something that like I love in the game,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to see, at least not that level of strength brought to D&D, right? And like adding your strength bonus to your plus to hit and your plus to damage, like makes you feel like I could never build a dexterity attacker again.
Yeah. Why would you?
Yeah.
See, this is the one thing that kind of, I guess, bothers me with D&D at times is like, there are subclasses that it's like, why would you do anything else? Hexblade.
Yeah.
Why would you do anything else? Like, there's an optimal choice for you.
Yes.
Anything else is just going to hurt you
Right.
from a damage perspective. Like,
Right.
obviously, there's RP and flavor, and
Sure.
But like, if you're going just for numbers,
Sure.
there are some pretty clear, obvious.
I mean, depending on what you want to build. Like if you want to build an attacker who wants a good charisma, then yes,
Yeah.
right, Hexblade. But you know, there's plenty of times where Genie is a better choice if
Sure.
you're depending on what you're trying to do. But anyway, so Baldur's Gate 3. Let's see. Gosh, I should have made a list of these.
I'll go to the chat while you're thinking.
Yeah.
This person says how useful pushing is in BG3 makes me want it to be useful in D&D, and I agree.
Yeah.
That is so fun in Baldur's Gate.
Well,
almost overpowered because you could just shove people off of.
I think what makes it so good in Baldur's Gate is the environment.
Yes.
Right, because there's lava everywhere,
That's an
whatever.
interesting like perspective actually, because that just should tell DMs you need to make more
3D.
scale in
Yes. Yeah,
your
like-
encounters.
Yeah, make your encounters 3D. What's great about it in Baldur's Gate is that you can shove as a bonus action.
Yes.
And that is really cool. And it would be even cooler if you could shove as a bonus action and knock somebody prone. Because then you're going to be able to get easy advantage on melee attacks. But that's just me thinking with my, optimizer brain.
Yeah.
I do like that. There was one thing that really stuck out to me, and now I'm forgetting it. Here's something that I really enjoy about Baldur's Gate 3, and I actually make a short about this. Oh, the short's coming out tomorrow. I love how easy it is to sort of prep for battle before the combat encounter begins. And because usually or you've got a pretty good idea when combat's about to break out. And you might be able to say the same thing for D&D. Depends on your table, depends on how much your DM likes to monologue on their villains, right?
Guilty.
But I love the idea of being like, okay, there's some bad guys up there. I'm going to go into turn-based mode. I'm going to cast haste. I'm going to summon my Shadow Blade.
Yeah.
And then on the next round, I'm going to, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and then you don't waste.
And then you start combat, ready to go.
Yeah.
The problem with that is it does have a tendency to sort of force people to go, oh, I don't have anything to prepare. I'm doing it wrong. You know what I mean? So, but I would love to see something in the next iteration of D&D, give everybody gets a free reaction before combat begins, or a free bonus action before combat begins, or we're gonna call this a prep round or something like that, where I don't know, I because I do hate getting into combat and being okay, I got to spend a round getting my concentration spell going, or raging even, or whatever. It's I want to just come in
ready to go,
swinging or firing on all cylinders, which
again,
some people might say, well, hey, that's the cost, the potential thing. It's a balance thing, right? Fighters can be great potentially because they just start swinging right from round one, whereas they might not do as much damage as somebody who's using a concentration spell, but the draw, the balance there as well, you got to spend a round doing that. So how long's the combat encounter going to last, and blah blah blah. I don't know, I really like that. But gosh dang it, I know there are other things. Read through some more.
I'm going through some of the chat here. So we've got let's see, how about automatic guidance? Love it. Ranger being viable is my favorite thing in BG3. Agreed.
Yeah.
Instant short rest. I could see it, but I also, as a DM, like to surprise my players.
Sure.
And sometimes, middle of a short rest, no, you're in a place where
Yeah.
you don't know if you're going to get a short rest. And you took too long or
Yeah.
you were too noisy or something, and now goblins know where you are.
It's fun as an optimizer and as a player, but it might take away from the overall sort of experience balance.
Yeah, it depends on your campaign, because, like, Into the Abyss, no way. I'm sneaking up on you all the time.
Yeah.
You're out in the plains outside of Baldur's Gate? Fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That doesn't matter as much.
Gosh, barbarians being able to reckless attack like on demand. So you don't have to declare that you're going to reckless attack before you reckless attack.
You
can
are.
see if you miss and then decide to reckless attack. That's nice. There's bigger ones than that.
The
The
rogue.
monk. I let me say this. They do a pretty good job of making monks better. Their unarmed, their martial arts dice scales quicker. Open hand monk gets more damage. Level 6, I think it is. Shadow monk has more cool like teleporty stuff. The Four Elements monk is way better in Baldur's Gate 3. I did a video for a build there. So just sort of generally, yeah, that's better. Oh. Here's my number one thing.
All right.
My number one thing. Spell duration. I love
Yes.
how in Baldur's Gate you've got a spell and it either lasts for a minute, like a combat encounter basically, or we've got a horn. Can you guys hear somebody's car alarms going off outside? So your spells that have a duration are either a minute or all day.
Yeah.
And nothing in between. And I love that because I like such a huge pet peeve for me to be like, okay, I want to cast Aid, but it only lasts 8 hours. Like what time? Hey DM, like what time is it? It's 10 o'clock. Okay. I mean, now I have to remember like I'm casting it at 10. It's only going to last till 6. Are we going to be in the middle of a fight and Aid's going to wear off? Like, or even like the 10-minute ones are the worst.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's basically the same thing as the 1 minute. Like how often do you have combat encounters within 10 minutes of each other? Sometimes maybe, I guess, but it seems to be rare, at least for us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like if you're at the end of a campaign and you're like gauntlet style towards the end fight,
you're dungeon crawling and you're just going from fight to fight.
Yeah, but typically the way that we've played, at least, it's been like a combat. Okay, that is done and that is wrapped, and there's a bell on that, and we're moving on.
1 hour durations, same. They do almost as much good as a 1 minute. Depending on the spell, I guess. But so yeah, I really like that. It's like this is either for a combat encounter or it's for the day, and it just removes all of that guesswork of like how many fights are we gonna have? Am I gonna be able to take a long rest? Is the spell gonna wear off? That's annoying to me.
What about the rogue's extra bonus action?
No.
Too powerful.
It's too powerful.
Too powerful.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. But it's like when I'm making builds for Baldur's Gate 3, it's always like how do I justify not taking 3 levels of Thief Rogue here? Because you're going to get an extra bonus action, and that's just like so many things, you know? And that would be, it makes it hard to be any other rogue. Like I've done assassin builds, and it's fine. But it's almost just like, yeah, I guess if you know you're going to get the drop on an enemy, it might be worth it to take assassin, but otherwise it's just thief. It's the same thing as like tavern brawler.
Right. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, so I saw this a couple of times in Discord. Once in our live stream chat, there was another, I think maybe in the off topic. So it's, what are your thoughts on doing builds using third-party content like The Merchant? I think Jenny D did a good job laying it out, but would love to see a Colby build for it.
Good question. I do, excuse me, I do get requests for that kind of stuff quite a bit. The problem, of course, is that, like, this is my job, and as such, I need to both, like, create stuff that I enjoy and that's fun and interesting to me, but also I have to keep an eye on YouTube analytics and what's going to get views.
Right.
And so in order to really get like the most views, I've quickly learned that like the more mass appeal a video has, the better it's going to perform, and therefore the more ad revenue I'm going to make off that video, right? And so when you do something that's like not a lot of people actually play with, then your potential audience goes way down.
Right.
Now, I appreciate that there are those of you out there who watch pretty much whatever I put out regardless, and you're awesome, and you're not the norm. Because I also get plenty of people that that make comments along the lines of 5 minutes into the video and you still haven't even started the character build. I'm so bored, I'm out, or whatever. So yeah, so for example, I've done 3 videos using third-party content. 2 Blood Hunters,
Okay.
and then the very recent Arcane Hand Monk.
Right.
Both of those Blood Hunter videos way underperformed. And Blood Hunters are used at a lot of tables, right?
Right.
They're in D&D Beyond. I get a lot of requests to do Blood Hunter stuff. And yet they still way underperform. The Arcane Hand Monk did above average. I have to believe it's because I was with Kelly and Monty.
Yeah, sure.
I'm with the Dungeon Dudes, in Toronto. You know what I mean? There was some novelty there, and the Dungeon Dudes is a big channel. They've got 400,000 subscribers or whatever, so potential audience gain there.
Right.
So all of that said, I would never rule it out, obviously, but it's really kind of something that I probably am only going to do rarely, and either maybe if I can do it as a collaboration with the creator and they've got a big following, or if there's just a lot of demand and I'm getting tons and tons and tons of requests, like I have for the Blood Hunter, and so that's kind of why I justified doing a build or 2 for him. But yeah, even then they don't perform particularly well.
The chat says they'll watch anything you put out. You could make a build for 2nd edition and they'd watch it.
Thank you. I
also-
don't think that video would get a lot of views.
Also, doing a collab with that person that made it would be cool, and I think
Right,
that's
right.
why it worked with Dungeon Dudes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, let's see. We got a few minutes left. Do you want to do one more question?
Sure.
Or do you want to just
Yeah, let's do one
ramble?
more.
Okay, let's do one more question. So this comes from Formidable on Discord. What are some major trepidations you had before diving into making videos about optimization? What convinced you to overcome them? Love your work. You inspire me weekly.
Oh, thank you. Who's that?
Formidable.
Thanks, Formidable. Yeah, so, we've talked about this before a little bit. I guess I would say when I think back on, gosh, it was over 3 years ago now.
That's crazy.
Here's a little backstory, origin story. Some of you may have heard, and you didn't really ask for this, but I'll give it to you anyway. We were playing D&D, and I was starting to do spreadsheets.
I remember these days.
and I was like, because I was so in love with my Blade Singer.
Right.
And I felt so good. I'm like, is this as good as I think it is, or is it not as good as I think it is?
Yeah.
Is it just feel really good because nobody else at the table is optimizing, or is it really good? And so I'm like, because here's the damage that I do, compared, at the different armor classes, at these different levels, and it feels really good. But I don't know, maybe I need to compare it to known best damage builds out there. And so I'm like, well, how would I build a Hexblade Warlock that took Polearm Master and Great Weapon Master and just Darkness, Devil Sight, whatever. How much damage would they do if I built, if I were going to play that character, how would I build it? And I, graph it on a spreadsheet, and I do a Great Weapon Master, Fighter, Sharpshooter, Crossbow Expert, and all these things. And I'm like, this Blade Singer's, beating them all. It was close with the Polearm Master, and I had to make some assumptions, about things, too. But, I'm just like, this is as good as I think it is. And this is really interesting to me. Surely other people would be interested in this. And so I start sharing the spreadsheets with the people that I play with, and they're all just like, "Oh,
cool,
yeah, that's
man.
really interesting."
I already do enough spreadsheets at work. No more spreadsheets.
They weren't interested, but they would humor me still and be like, "Oh, that's really cool." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. You guys don't care." I'm taking my ball and going home, and and so I'm like, there is an audience. Actually, at first, what I did is I'm gonna find a podcast
Right.
that does this, because surely there's a podcast out there that just does like character builds. Because in my head, it's a podcast, right? It's just like somebody talking. It's not a video. Couldn't find any podcasts. And I'm just like, are you seriously? Like, fine, I'm just going to do this myself.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like wrote out the little script for like how to build it. And I'm just like, and it was literally like a couple of days before I started recording it. As I'm figuring it out, I'm like, I mean, I guess I'll turn a camera on and like put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because why not? Maybe there's an audience there, but I doubt it. You know what I mean? And you fast forward 3 years and like, there's like,
I don't know if you can see that, but now
there's, 100 and whatever thousand followers on YouTube, and my podcast get like maybe 1,000 listens, in a week or whatever, which is fine. Anyway, I think back to those days and I didn't have a lot of trepidation, and maybe that's a blessing or some sort of gift or something. Like, I was just like, I'm just going to do this and just put it out there without a lot of like thought or planning. Like, I don't know how to edit a video. Like, I don't know. Like, I got this mic from a buddy and I knew that it was a good mic, and I've been using it ever since. I just used the camera on my laptop, like the built-in camera on my laptop, turned it on and just kind of like figured it out. And I've kind of always had like a quick to fail mentality.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that, and just being like, just like put it out there and iterate as you go, and like you'll learn and be like, okay, this doesn't work as well, that doesn't work as well. Oh, I'm figuring out how to edit videos. I could make this a little better. I could script this a little more tightly, or whatever. And so I didn't have a lot of trepidation around just kind of like doing it. I think if I had any sort of doubts, they might have been around like, are all of my builds going to start to feel samey?
Yeah.
Right? Like because Action Surge is so good, and Divine Smite is so good, and Hexblade Warlocks are so good. Like, am I going to run out of ideas? Is it going to get to a point very quickly where it's like, well, and guess what? Like, we're taking a 2-level dip for Fighter so we can get Action Surge, and we're going to take a 2-level dip for Paladin so we can get Divine Smite, or whatever. And to be fair, I'm sure some of you would agree with this. Like, sometimes you might watch a build and be like, yeah, I could have predicted that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or I had a feeling he was gonna. I mean, how many times have I taken 2 levels of Fighter on my builds? Right?
Yeah.
So many times, so many, because it is so good. And so so that was one concern, a little bit of a fear of like, okay, how, like, I don't want to just like kind of build the same character over and over again, or a character that's so similar that it feels like just maybe an iteration on a theme as opposed to like something different, right? What helped me get through that is 2 things. One, starting to do builds that were like putting artificial constraints on myself in the name of character concept.
It's unique to your channel, I think. I mean, I don't watch a ton of optimizers.
Sure.
I don't even know if there is a ton other than
there
like
aren't
you
a
and
lot, I don't
Tree
think.
and Monk, basically. But like, that's one thing that
Kobold,
is...
Pack Tactics.
Yeah, that's one thing I think that is unique to your channel. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, but within these constraints, to almost force your hand to make different choices.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So like the very first one I ever did was the Magic Touch Sorcerer, the Sorcerer with Magic Touch. I was like, what if we built a character who could only do damage with their touch? Like there's something like innate. The magic was like corporeal somehow.
Like Rogue from X-Men.
Yeah, and you couldn't shoot things. Yeah, exactly. But like when you touch something, then like stuff happens. I'm like, that's a fun concept. Could it be viable? Like, could it keep up damage-wise? Well, let's find out and like do the best we could. Or like the Pokemon trainer. What if we made a character who could not attack themselves? They could only do damage like with their pets.
Right.
Would that work? Could it be viable? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's build something. So that was the first thing that really helped, and I think really kind of got me thinking whatever outside the box or whatever. And then, and also going, okay, like we're going to build just for this subclass. It's not a very popular subclass. It might not be the most powerful subclass, but like there's people out there who really want to play a Shadow Sorcerer or whatever. Okay, let's build the best Shadow Sorcerer we can, and what would that look like? So that was the one thing. And then the other thing was you guys. I mean, the audience. Like, people very quick from day one started like, oh, this was great, like, could you do blah blah blah, you know, oh,
Right.
here's my character concept, like, I want to see, you know, whatever it is, could you do a build around a dart, you know. I got a lot of requests for that early, and I'm just like, no, move on, you know. The dart sucks. And then it's like, well, another person
Wait
asked,
a
and I'm like,
second.
okay, you know what, I'm gonna put that on like a to-do list. And so I started keeping this to-do list that I talk about sometimes. It's like 6 or 7 pages long now, right? And there's a ton of things on there that's like, okay, fine, like, let's do a build for the dart. Like, if I had to use the dart, how would I build this character,
Yeah.
right? And like, to my great delight, I realized, like, you know what, like, there's some unique things about this
Yeah.
that, like, make it not only cool conceptually, but like, it's actually really powerful. And so I did the Needler, right? And so stuff like that. And I mean, gosh, the Dungeon Dude's recent multi-class tier ranking
Oh yeah.
video series was like a perfect example of them going, okay, you know, how good is a warlock with a barbarian? Not very. But like, Colby, can you come up with something? And I'll be like, okay, yes. Like, challenge accepted, you know? And then realizing, like, gosh, you know what? Like, this can be really good in certain situations, in
Right.
certain scenarios. So yeah, that's been the most fun thing. Like, my favorite day of the week is Monday, which is different than most people who have jobs, because that's my sit down and like brainstorm what's my next video going to be
Yeah.
day. And so I go through the to-do list, and I'm just like, ooh, oh yeah, that would be cool. Oh, that would be cool. And it's like, and then I get to pick, like, okay,
Yeah.
what am I going to work on? And then I get to sit there and like spend 5 hours just like with 8 tabs of D&D Beyond open, going, okay, what if we, no, that's not going to work. Oh, but if we, okay, yeah, wait, let me look at that feed again. Like,
This is a preview of the of
Yeah.
behind the scenes with
yeah,
Colby.
yeah, people ask, like, could you do a video on what your process is for creating characters? And I'm just like, that would be the most boring video.
It's a camera over your shoulder watching you just
Yeah, of
open
me just,
D&D
like,
Beyond tabs.
of me just like looking out the window and doing this for like hours at a time.
Some
Being like,
calm music playing.
oh wait, no.
A candle in the background.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, well, what are we doing for our action? What are we doing for our bonus action? Can we get a reaction here? What are we concentrating on, you know, if we're not a barbarian, basically. But anyway, so yeah, that I guess I would say was my maybe my only that I can think of. Well, and early on, how much time was this going to take?
Oh yeah.
Because I had a full-time job, and getting a YouTube channel off the ground and trying to create an hour-long video once a week.
Yeah.
I mean, you know from experience, it was taking 25, 30 hours outside of my full-time job, and I have a wife and 3 kids, and I was like, once it got to like 1,000 subscribers, and that took 3 or 4 months,
Yeah.
and I was monetized, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
This
I could
is
actually make
something.
money at this.
Yeah.
But in order to get to the place where it could replace my full-time job, I have to keep doing this, spending 30 hours a week to create a video for I don't know how long. Like, it's going to be a year or 2.
Yeah.
And like, is my family going to survive that? You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
a lot. Like, it was just like, that feels like a lot of work and a lot of pressure. And I do remember feeling really stressed.
Sure.
It was February of 2021. I'd been 6 months into the channel, and I just hit 5K views,
Yeah.
5K subscribers, and seemed to be growing nicely. And we were getting ready to do our 5K celebration.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
And I just remember being on a walk as we were thinking about planning for that, and having almost like a mini panic attack, and being like, okay, like there's potential here, but
Yeah.
but it's going to take a lot of work to get to a place where like I can go back to just working 40 hours a week again. And that was scary, right? It was scary. But you know, I committed and had help and support, and more than anything, support from my wife, who I love with all of my heart and just has been
Aww.
like she made it possible, really.
Yeah.
Without her, this would not be happening.
I say you have a skill, and it's I'll just call it the have my cake and eat it too skill, where you just find a way to have what you want.
Sure.
It's a skill. So.
Well, thanks.
Well, I
been
think
lucky,
we're
that's for
at
sure.
time. We're 7 minutes over actually because we just. Oh, thanks. Oh wait, no, I just scrolled up. So, anyways, we're at time. 7 minutes
Yes.
over. We ramble. Colby rambles.
Yes, I do.
In the best
we
way.
wanted to try and keep it to an hour. We could talk all day,
Easily.
but I got to finish editing this video before 5 because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and I cannot be working over Thanksgiving.
Yes. So thanks for tuning in.
Love you guys. So grateful for you. I love you too, Dallin.
Oh, thanks,
Thank
man.
you for all of your help and
Yeah.
support over the years and your friendship.
Thank you for the
And,
opportunity to flex my editing
Yes.
wings, stretch my
Right?
editing wings.
Fantastic editor. Like for sure, the quality of editing
Time will tell.
has gone up.
Time will tell.
Over the last few videos, no question. Okay, yeah, you guys are awesome. Sorry we didn't get to all of the comments and questions. I'll try to go through and read as many of them as I can, and we will post this on the channel, but just for Platinum members. I got to figure out how to do that still, but I'll figure it out. And yeah, thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys in Discord, and yeah,
Love
until
you.
next time, take care.
Stop streaming now.
stream.
Oh, close. Stop streaming.